Welcome Ultimate Strongman fans. This is the Daddy Glen Ross and this is Ultimate Strongman News. Well guys, the news this week is World's Strongest Man's about to take place and we've got 25 athletes from around the planet gathered in Sacramento in the USA ready to do battle. It's going to be a real rumble and we're going to go through the groups to see who I fancy to make it. Kicking off for Group 1, we have no other than the UK strongest man, Gavin Bilton. He's our 2 times title holder and he's weighing a massive 30 stone in weight, 6'6" in height. He's an absolute monster and they call him the Welsh Bull. Now, this is his second appearance at World's Strongest Man, so I really fancy him to do well in this group. As you know, he's had the bit of confidence in the first year. He knows what it's all about and he's going to go over, we hope, to do damage and prove that not only is he UK strongest man, but he's one of the top guys in the World's Strongest Man final. Also coming up in that group is Maxime Bourdeaux and he's from Canada. It's his second appearance. He's 6'4" in height and he's a huge 24 stone as well. So he's quite a package of a guy, you know. You got to fancy all these Canadians. I mean, he's got his countryman, Caron. You know, these guys are top athletes from Canada. None of them go there to make up the numbers, so you'd have to watch out for him. Now, this guy, the third guy in that group that I really fancy to watch out for. Now, he's been doing strongman a long time, so he's got a world of experience in the strongman world. It's his 5th appearance. But he's come back from a lot of, let's say he's had a hard time in his life, you know, but he's back bigger and stronger and he's ready to do battle, and that's Travis Ortmar of the USA. He's weighing a nice solid 23 stone in weight and he's a 6'4" athlete, so he's got the height and, you know, he used to be called the Texas Stone Man. So if it does go to this stone off or stone eliminator that will be at World's Strongest Man groups, I wouldn't discount Travis to go through to the final. Though the guy that's the favourite in that group is Brian Shaw. He's 4 times World's Strongest Man, and there was every year that Brian could become the record holding 5th title and match Mariusz Pudzianowski with that 5th title of World's Strongest Man. It's now. This, in my opinion, is Brian's last hurrah of actually winning this title. So he'll be one to watch and he's definitely not coming to make up the numbers. He's here to win. He's here to win his group, put a message out, and he's here to win the final. And this guy is an absolute monster, 29 stone in weight. He's 2nd heaviest in the group. He's 6'8" in height and he's going to be one to watch for the entire competition. The guy, the dark horse of the group that everybody needs to watch out for in Group 1 is Avos Smagatelis, and he is from Latvia. He's 6'2", he's 23 stone. He made the final of World's Strongest Man, and it's his 4th World Strongest Man appearance, but last year he was something else. He was a real class actor in his group, made the grand final, and he's there to do the business, to make himself back into the grand final and win the competition. So the Daddy's prediction in Group 1 to go through, Brian Shaw to win the group, and in the stone off, I really fancy Gavin Bilton and Travis Ortmar, but I'm afraid Gavin's going to have to find his A game to beat the Texas Stone Man. Moving on now to Group 2, and what a lineup this one has. We've got Mark Felix, the Miracle, the UK strongest man athlete, that 22 stone in weight. He's 6'4" in height, and it's his 16th appearance at World's Strongest Man. And that in itself is an absolute miracle that his body is still attached to compete that many times at this level. But he is a gift that keeps giving, and he'll certainly be one to watch in that group. Moving on to Johnny Hannesson of Sweden. It's his 3rd World's Strongest Man appearance. He's 6'7" in height, 27.5 stone. So he's a right chunk of a man. He's been a top athlete for Scandinavia for some time now, and he's certainly going to be a package at some of these disciplines in the group, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does. Probably the favourite in the group. He was runner-up in World's Strongest Man last year, our UK Strongest Man. Favourite probably out of all the athletes to win the World's Strongest Man, and that's the albatross that is Tom Stoltman of Scotland. And he's absolute beast of a guy this year. 6'8" in height. He's his 4th World's Strongest Man. Runner-up last year, and he's weighing 28 stone of solid muscle, and an absolute animal of a guy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him hopefully bring the title back to the UK. Next in that group, though, you've got to watch is Trey Mitchell of the USA. Now, Trey has been over the Ultimate Strongman in our teams. He's an absolute one of the gentlemen of strongman, and he's super strong. Though this is his 3rd World's Strongest Man appearance, and I think if he's going to do well, it's this year now, because he's had a little bit of experience, and if he's going to qualify in this group, he's got to work really hard, because it's a very tough group. But he'll definitely be one to watch. He's 6'4" in height. He's weighing 26 stone in weight, and certainly a top strongman. The final guy in this group is Yvon Singleton. Now this guy is his 2nd World's Strongest Man. This is the guy everybody's talking about. That is going to be the new prodigy, if you like, on the World's Strongest Man circuit for the next decade. He's 6'6" in height. He's 25 stone in weight, and I really think he could be one to watch in this group. Now my prediction to going through to the final, I really think Tom Stoltman, I can't see beyond him qualifying outright. But the 2 runners up in that stone off in the group will have to be Yvon Singleton and possibly his countryman Trey Mitchell. I think these are 2 top lads, and I think they'll be in the stone playoff, but who could win? We'll soon see. Next up is Group 3, probably one of the most exciting groups of the whole World's Strongest Man, and we've got one of my favourites. I think every strongman favourite is Mikhail Shubikov of Russia, our Special Forces Siberian, and he's a top competitor. His 7th World's Strongest Man appearance, and he's 6'2" in height and 22 stone of solid muscle. And listen, you cannot discount him. Some competitions he turns up and plods on, and then some he's very hard to stop. So I'll not discount him for not making the final. I think he's definitely one to watch in this group. Next up after that is the Canadian monster that is JF Caron. Caron is an absolute class act. He's a Ultimate Strongman Team World Champion, and he's 6'3" in height, 24.5 stone in weight, and one of his specialities is stones. You put stones in front of him, he'll put it on. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy in action, as he's not just going to be one of the favourites for his group, but certainly, in my opinion, one of the favourites to win the title. As last year, he finished 3rd on the podium, and he can only improve further. Next in the group is Robert Oberst. Now, Robert Oberst is a top athlete. He's 6'7" in height, 28.5 stone in weight, and he has a superb log lift and pressing power. He's also quite, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very focused when he comes into the disciplines, really aggressive when he attacks the disciplines. And that's what I did notice about Robert in the past. So, when he has his A game on, he's definitely one that's going to be very hard to stop, and he'll be one to watch to qualify through to the final. Also in that group is Luke Richardson, one of our UK Strongest Man competitors. Now, Luke is a top athlete, won Europe's Strongest Man last year, so he is one of the top draw in our UK lineup. He's 6'3" in height, 22 stone in weight, and this is his 2nd appearance in World's Strongest Man. So last year, he didn't make the final, but he was just what I saw, treading the water, treading the marshlands, finding his solid footing, and I think he'd be very one to watch and be a dark horse to make the grand final this year. And the final guy in this group 3 is Eithor Ingolfsson Melstad. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And he's from Iceland. It's his second World's Strongest Man appearance. He's 6'1" in height, 23 stone. Now listen, you know, he comes from the island where all the fire is from, you know, and one thing that I know about all Icelanders, they've got a real fire in their belly to win, you know, and after seeing Hafthor Bjornsson and how great he has been from that country, Magnus Magnus, who's referee, a World's Strongest Man, 4 times winner, you know, and then obviously the great Jean-Paul Sigurdsson. They've had a lineup of top athletes perform at that contest. So you know, he's got, how can I put it, heavy anvils sitting on top of his shoulders to carry to perform better than these men. So in my tip to make the final in these groups, I think JF Caron will win the group, in my opinion. But the 2 playoff names that you need to watch in this group, in my opinion, would be Luke Richardson. I think he's going to come into his own. He'll be in the stone playoff. And I think Robert Oberst, you can't discount him. He's a tough athlete, and he will fight all the way for the USA. Group 4 is next, and probably one of the most open groups in this year's World's Strongest Man 2021. And we've got Chris Vedelind. He's a rookie, he's a new guy on the block. He's 6'1", 29 stone in weight, from South Africa. And this Springbok is an absolute unknown package to me and a lot of people. But what we do know is, if he's made the World's Strongest Man lineup, he's definitely one to watch. South Africa have had some great strongmen of the past with Wayne Price, Gerard Bradenhorst. So this guy is going to be, I'm sure, from great stock and a top draw competitor in his first year in World's Strongest Man. He's going up against Terry Hollands. Now Terry, one of the Dartford UK Strongest Man competitors, is one fantastic athlete. This will be his 15th World's Strongest Man, and he's looking to do 10 World's Strongest Man finals. And we wish him well on this campaign. He's 6'5" in weight. He's weighing a solid 26 stone, probably the most solid I've seen him ever. He's big, he's strong, and he's looking hungry. So we do wish him well. The other UK Strongest Man athlete is Adam Bishop. Now, obviously Adam made the final last year, the grand final, and obviously he's looking to go better and maybe match what Tom Stoltman did and make the podium. So it will be a real challenge for Adam, because there's some really tough lads in the entire World's Strongest Man, but he's got to get through this group. And at 6'3", 23.5 stone in weight, he's definitely prepared well for this competition. We wish him well, but he's facing Konstantin Janasha, probably in my opinion the favourite for winning the entire group. I've always rated this Georgian. He's 6'5" in weight. He's been in 5 World's Strongest Mans, 26 stone, and Konstantin was on way to win World's Strongest Man a couple of years ago, and I really do think he's nailed his training. He's more focused now. All the injuries are clear, and he's ready to prove a point that he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. But let's not discount the final guy in the group, the USA competitor that is Jerry Pritchard. Now, Jerry had a real, absolutely unbelievable Cinderella story competition last year. Finished 4th in the World's Strongest Man and just missed out in the final. Now, this old fox, is Jerry an absolute deadlift monster on the circuit? You know, is he like a fine wine and about to get better and make the podium? Well, we'll soon see. Now, my prediction of this group is Konstantin Janasha to win the group, and I'd see Jerry Pritchard and Adam Bishop in the stone off. And obviously, I hope the UK Strongest Man competitor will come through as my countryman. Final group, Group 5. And what a lineup of 5 athletes we've got in this group, starting with Erwin Toots. Now this big young lad, he's 6'4", he's 22 stone of solid muscle from Estonia, and he's definitely one to watch. This guy's hungry in his second appearance in World's Strongest Man, and these guys from the Baltics, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, they are hardy men, and Erwin Toots is one of them hard men that you'll have to not discount if you're wanting to face him and try and make the grand final. So next in the lineup is Bobby Thompson, the USA competitor. Bobby's his second World's Strongest Man. He's 25 stone, he's 6'1", and he's a solid athlete. Now, obviously, being his second World's Strongest Man, he's had a bit of experience now, and he wants to prove a point. So let's just see how good Bobby. This is his opportunity of doing really well, certainly in pressing events and things like that. Bobby will be one to watch. Next in the lineup is our UK Strongest Man competitor who made the grand final a couple of years ago, so we want to repeat that, and that's the awesome Scotland's Luke Stoltman. And he's coming in at 6'3", he's 26 stone in weight, and also one of his fortes is pressing power. So, any pressing events, it's going to be a real battle if you want to beat Luke. So we do wish him well, and we hope Luke can make the final alongside his brother with the Stoltman brothers. Next USA is another USA competitor, Kevin Furs. Now, this is his third competition. Now Kevin is weighing 20 stone, so he's the lightest guy in the whole of the World's Strongest Man contest this year, and he's 6'2" in height, and he's a solid competitor, but hope he's not just here to make up the numbers. We really wish him well and hope he can deliver in this competition. And finally, it's no other than the World's Strongest Man 2020. He's also been Ultimate Strongman under 23 world champion. So this guy has come from real pedigree. The Ukraine breed fantastic athletes, and they've got a great structure in Ukraine, working really hard for up and coming athletes coming through, and Val and all the team out there, they really do work hard when it comes to strongmen. And you can see it now because you've had great athletes in the past, like Verchik, have come through to win World's Strongest Man, and Alexei Novikov is no other one of them. He's 6'1", he's 21.5 stone of solid muscle, and this guy just seems to get better and better. The cream is definitely rising to the top, and I can't see beyond him this year. He's certainly going to win his group, for sure, in my opinion. In the stone playoff in that group, I fancy Luke Stoltman and probably Erwin Toots, because I think he's going to be a bit of a dark horse. But if it does come to the stone playoff, I think Luke can just take it. World's Strongest Man heat disciplines are always a great ones to watch. Now, you always start off with a loading event most years, and this year will be no different. They have a really challenging loading event to kick off the competition. They're putting in a squat this year, which is I really love. I love static events, and a deadlift event in the heats, which will really find out who is the strongest guy, in my opinion. I love sort of static events, and I'm really glad to see that's back in World's Strongest Man. Fingers is back in. It's a tough event. A little bit of techniques involved in fingers, speed and explosive power. Probably one of the most dangerous events in World's Strongest Man, in my opinion, and it's great to see that they have put a lot of safety into the fingers going over, which I think is very important. Train pull is also part of it, which is going to be an interesting one to see exactly what way this is going to be delivered. Is it going to be delivered on a ladder, or is it just going to be a traditional harness and rope? So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. We've obviously got an overhead press medley. Again, you can't knock any pressing events. It was always a great daddy event. I used to love my pressing. So I'm looking forward to see who has the strongest shoulders. And we've got some really top shoulder pressers in this year's World's Strongest Man. And one of the other events, there seemed to be a new event in World's Strongest Man. They've got the pickaxe hold, so it's a bit of a mining town of California and stuff. I think it's a really nice to see new disciplines, new looking disciplines put into World's Strongest Man, because that's what World's Strongest Man about is, you know, heavy moving disciplines, new challenges, keeps the spice going with World's Strongest Man. And last of all, obviously the stone off. Not keen about it personally as a playoff the way it's done, but it is what it is, and you've got to prove you've got the strongest back if you want to make the World's Strongest Man final, and stones is always a good way of doing that. So it's going to be interesting. We've got 25 athletes ready to mix up in 5 groups. Who's going to make the final? Who's going to be World's Strongest Man 2021 in Sacramento? We'll soon see. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe below, and let's see some great comments of what you'd like to see. And if you want to go to an Ultimate Strongman show, get your tickets, ultimatestrongman.tv, and we'll see you there.